dredge much more. So I'm sitting here
Okay.
with Sifu John Kaufman. He's in Hong Kong. I'm in Wells, British Columbia. It's like summer down there pretty much, and it's going to be minus 31 this weekend here. So, yeah, I'm not looking forward to it. So, first question I have for you today. This goes back to something that my first teacher, Robert, said to me a long time ago, and I believe it's true. I'd be interested in your opinion on this. And it's about the weight of my own head.
Okay.
And I have a larger head than most people seem to do. When they put on, even when very large men put my hat on, it's like over top of there, and I'm like, how can you have such a small head? And I go to buy a cowboy hat, and it's like 5/8. It's big, I got a big head, and so when I'm trying to uh, get my alignment, keeping my head up has always been sort of like it's easy for my head to want to come forward. And so Robert said it's very unfortunate you have a very heavy head. And then I wish that maybe we could have talked about that some more. I'm just curious what you think about my heavy head and how to and any ideas you have for alignment.
Okay. Well, number one, I think you think too much. Number two, number two, um, the thought that occurred to me initially was, those photographs of what are they, like African women that carry long, heavy things on, stacks of things on their head, and they're walking down the path. I mean, what they're carrying weighs a hell of a lot more than your head, and they don't have any problem because they know how to. Their body knows how to align itself in relaxation. Not they're making a physical effort to hold that stuff up because that would tense up the neck muscles and probably other areas, and they would tire themselves out immediately. But the reason that they can uh, balance all of that heavy weight on their head is because their bodies are in a natural condition in alignment. Okay, and so the weight is just simply being supported by them standing on the ground. The ground is supporting the weight. It's not like the muscles in their neck and elsewhere are working to hold it up. And that's the essence of being sung and um, being able to do things like that, the following, which is very important if you're going to access and use your body weight in momentum, like we've talked about in the past. And that is um, you want to develop the a way of being in the sense of it's like, and I'm not the first person by any means to mention this. Imagine like you're a puppet and you're being held up by a string. You're a marionette, okay? And so the string is holding you up. So you don't have to do anything else physically in your body to be up. The string is holding you up. You get it? And when that happens, your whole body and all of its constituent parts, muscles, just fall down. Okay. You don't make them fall and you don't make yourself go up. So when there's all this talk about, and this is just my view, raising up, okay, which is a common instruction, it's a mistake to try to raise up because what will happen as a natural result of that effort is you'll use muscles to lift yourself up, to hold yourself in a position, to stretch something, okay? And that very effort resulting in some level of muscular tension is counterproductive to accessing your body weight and using it in momentum to produce power and to affect somebody outside of yourself. Um, Instead, you make no effort at all. This was Ip Man's first and most important instruction, as I understand it, to Chu Shanten when he began training was use no effort. This idea of the marionette, it's like you get a sense of, I'm just going to say it this way. It's a little bit confusing, I think, but raising up, but at the same time, everything's falling down. So if you're a marionette, the string is raising you up, but internally, including all your muscles and everything is falling down. So it's like boom, okay, and then just move around. You see, if you do, to the degree to which it's not that big a deal, but to the degree to which you do that, you don't have to be concerned about the weight of your head or how to balance it on your body, or it's going to tip over. Okay, you're just you. Okay, when you walk down the street, do you have to make an effort to stop your head from tipping over and falling over? I don't think so. Okay, you just you're just
Almost.
what's that? I'm sorry. What did you say?
Almost, the fucking thing's so huge.
Well, you're making a joke, but really, I don't think. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think you have to be concerned with that when you just in your normal everyday life, walking down the street or sitting in a chair. It's like um, you're just you. Your head is part of you, and you're just there. You're yourself. Remember I said you're already perfect. You don't have to do anything special, okay? But um, but if you're thinking about being a martial artist or having a proper stance or alignment or so forth, then you're going to start doing things, and you might feel the weight of your head, and it might tip over a little bit, or whatever. But and the same goes for any other part of your body, I think. But all we're really saying, I guess, is that you need to be natural. And to the degree to which we try to do something special, correct what's wrong, apply a knowing instead of a know how to, what we talked about, um, changing from wrong to right, then we're going to defeat the ultimate goal of being natural in the moment. Just be yourself. So that's why it's difficult to do, because like if you're touching hands with someone, there's a pressure on you, there's movement, and it's our instinct, our natural response to to do something, to change, to start to move the hands somewhere. Muscles are engaged to stop the force that you're experiencing on you. You're answering. Most people, let's say in the context of chi sao, for instance, but it applies to any form of contact. There's a contact and there's a pressure starting to be applied, and most people respond to that by answering it. Okay, and you can use different parts of the body to answer that force, but typically the answer starts, for most people, I would think, with the shoulder and the arm muscles answering. And by answering, it's like if I'm going this way, if you're going this way, and I'm here, as contact is made, I start to do this. See, to answer your force, right? It's not some great insight, but if you actually figured out, examine what's happening, somebody's pressing on you. Most of us we can realize very easily that we're answering that force somehow, and it's like, okay, I'm doing something, right? Um, that answering is changing from what you had been doing to doing something. You get it? The muscles start to become um, activated in the sense of using some strength. We want to say that way, okay? So what I'm suggesting is that we don't want that. We don't want to do that. And when Chu Shantin talks about the nature of his contact with somebody, so when he like puts his arm on you, He says he just places it. Other people in our lineage, there's a saying that they use: rest, don't press. Okay. So just rest, don't press. Um, so if you're just resting or placing, then you're not answering a force. Okay. By changing what you're doing. If I'm resting, I'm resting. Okay. I get, you don't need the stupid example, but I'm lying in bed, I'm resting. I'm not doing anything else. I'm just resting. Okay. I'm not making a change. I'm not, oh, I have to lift my leg or engage this muscle or something. No, I'm just resting. Okay. So what am I resting? Well, it depends on what access you have to your body weight. So in the beginning, I'm just resting my arms weight. But then when you sufficiently release the body itself, you're resting the weight of the body. Okay, at the contact point. Now I know what some people, perhaps yourself as well, are going to say, and that probably, and that is, okay, if I rest my weight here and you take your arm away, aren't I going to fall down? Right?
I don't think I'd say that, but yeah, I know what you mean.
Okay, so if people wonder if I rest my weight on you and you go away, aren't I going to collapse downward? We don't want that, obviously, because
I
if
would
that
call that
happens,
I would call that a dead weight if you're doing that.
yes, okay, fair enough. I like that. So if you have that dead weight and the person removes the support from you, then that dead weight will fall down to the ground. Now, obviously, we don't want that because if that happens, the person will just come around and hit you. Okay. How do you have your weight on someone without having that collapsing when they take this quote unquote support away? Okay. Because you're not using their support, you're just releasing to place yourself on that person. When you combine that with focus, okay, and focus is the body's focus on your partner's center or spine. What do I mean by the body's focus? Again, focus is orienting yourself in a specific direction. Okay. I think we talked about before, like it's pointing, but not going. It's like every cell in your body is an eye and it's just looking, but not going. Or it's like a bunch of metal filings on a tabletop and you get close enough with a magnet. And what did all the filings do? They start to orient themselves, right? Because the magnet's not close enough to actually pull them in yet, but it's getting close enough. So they start to orient themselves to the magnet. You with me so far? So that's what focus is. So when we talk about focus in the martial arts, I'm referring to the body's focus on your partner's center. So it's not focused by, I start to press on you, okay, because I want to go there. It's an orientation, okay. So how do you do that? How do you what do you do to accomplish that? It's your relationship of the body as a whole through the feet on the ground. So it's your body's relationship to the ground and what action is happening there. What ground force action is occurring. Okay. Um, so it's like this. Imagine, think about a sprinter that's in the blocks starting a race and they're going to take off, right? So when they're in the blocks, one foot is in pressing or resting on the block on the front of the block, right? And they're getting ready. Their intention is to go because they know where they're going to go. It's a race. Boom, right? So, their body's getting ready to go. Which why? Because they've already formed the intention, right? So once the intention exists, the body itself naturally gets ready. Chushan Tin talked about getting ready, being ready in a ready state all the time. So the runner in the blocks, their body's ready now to spring out, right? So they are beginning just the very beginning of the um, reaction force. The reaction force is the block coming off the block. Well, we as martial artists were standing on the ground. The reaction force is from the ground because we're not in the blocks as a sprinter is. Okay, it's that start. I'm not. I mean, you don't want. I'm not. Don't exaggerate it. It's not like I have to like propel my body off the ground, like jump forward. That's not what I mean by focus. It's just the preparation for wanting to go. And you can feel it if you take the time to observe. You're standing and you form the intention that you want to go. And you'll feel the relationship of your body to the ground. It's like when you want to walk down the street. How do you take a step? The foot that's not stepping, there's some relationship between that and your body through that foot and the ground. So you have to kind of like move off the ground to take that step with a moving leg, right? That's that ground force reaction of the support foot on the ground. But it doesn't require it. We're not talking about jumping forward. We're talking about walking, taking a step very naturally. We're not talking about propelling yourself in some extreme manner by, you know, jumping like crazy. Okay. So it's that subtle relationship of your body on the ground with the intent to go somewhere that's going to initiate or start that ground reaction force. That's what I mean by focusing the body on your partner center. So when I rest on you, I'm coming back to the point now. When I rest, when I place myself on you, so my weight is going down, and I add in that intention, that relationship of the body itself to the ground, and you pull your hand away, I'll go forward. That's the forward energy of Wing Chun they talk about. It's not at the hand pressing the point of contact and boom, going forward. If you want to think of it as like a spring, okay, the whole body is a spring on the ground. It's not this is the spring, okay? But you don't have to have your body be a spring on the ground by bending your knees and jumping or, you know, any action like that. It's the intent that we're talking about, okay? That makes you a spring on the ground, if you will. So the point is, you can test it out yourself very easily with someone. You place yourself on them. And that's true if you're under them too. It's like you're a fuxao and I'm in a tonsao, okay? I can still place myself on you
Yeah.
from that underneath position. And then I add the intent, which results in that relationship to the ground that we just described. And then I'm oriented to you. Okay. But my weight is connected to you. My weight is on you. So you have to deal with my weight, which is the essence of this method of Wing Chun. You have to deal with the weight of my body in motion. Okay. So let's say my body's not in motion. I'm standing there and I'm doing what we just described. You still have to deal with my weight. It's going to be difficult for you to move me because if I just use my muscle strength, then you can tip me over more easily because I really haven't accessed or you put my weight on you. But if I do what we just talked about, you always have to deal with my weight. So you could push me, but it's not going to be easy to move me. And if I start moving my weight using momentum, then while I'm still resting or placing myself on you so that you still have to deal with my weight, and I'm oriented to your center. So I start moving to move your center, to imbalance you or to hit you or whatever I want to do or move you anywhere I want, right? You can try to resist. You can try to like hit me or do some technique, but you're still going to have to deal with all of my weight no matter what you do. And that's a difficult thing to do. So when we talk about effortless power, we're talking about using the weight in that way. And it's quote unquote effortless because you're not using muscle strength to do anything. You're just using the weight of your body and momentum. So you as the practitioner doing it that way, you don't feel anything because you're not tensing any muscles. So there's nothing to feel. So that's why it seems effortless to you. Okay. Um, and that's really what Chu Shantin methodology is about, in my opinion.